He had all the money in the world, but what he didn't have was peace. William Harrow, a billionaire real estate tycoon, was the kind of man people whispered about when he walked into a room. Suits tailored in Italy, a driver always waiting at the curb, and a phone that never stopped buzzing with calls worth millions. He lived in penthouses high above the city, dined in Michelin-starred restaurants, and flew across continents in his private jet. To most, he was untouchable, a man who had everything. But behind the carefully polished image, William carried a secret grief. His only son, Daniel, had been born with cerebral palsy. At just 10 years old, Daniel had endured more doctor visits than most adults saw in a lifetime. His movements were stiff, his legs weak, and his speech sometimes slurred. Despite his bright, curious eyes and gentle smile, society often looked past him. For William, success meant control, yet Daniel was a part of his life he couldn't fix. No amount of money, no world-class surgeon, no new therapy could cure his son. And though William provided the best doctors, the most advanced wheelchairs, and an endless stream of caretakers, he never stopped to notice what Daniel really wanted, a father's presence. That night, the moment everything changed came in the most unexpected place, an ordinary diner on the quiet side of town. The rain had been falling hard, and William's driver suggested they stop to wait out the storm. William didn't care for diners, but Daniel had been restless in the back seat. He sighed and agreed. They entered the small place, warm light spilling across checkered floors, with the smell of frying bacon and fresh coffee filling the air. That's when she appeared. Her name was Maya. A young black waitress with tired eyes and a smile that somehow still carried hope. She wore a simple uniform and carried plates with the kind of grace only someone used to balancing chaos could master. She noticed Daniel immediately, not with pity, not with hesitation, but with a warmth that made him sit a little taller in his chair. "Hey there, handsome," she said gently, crouching to meet his eyes instead of looking past him. "What's your name?" "Daniel," he answered softly. "Well, Daniel," she smiled, "I think you've got the kindest eyes I've seen all day. You must take after your dad." William shifted uncomfortably, not used to strangers speaking to his son so openly. Usually, people avoided Daniel, whispering apologies or giving awkward smiles. But not Maya. She treated him like he belonged, like he was the most important person in the room. They ate quietly until the sound of an old jukebox filled the diner with music, an old jazz tune with a playful beat. That's when Maya did something William would never forget. She walked over to Daniel, held out her hand, and said, "You want to dance, sweetheart?" William immediately opened his mouth to decline, his son couldn't dance. But before he could speak, Daniel smiled. One evening, he asked her, "Why did you dance with him that night? Most people just look away." She paused, wiping down a table, then met his gaze. "Because I see him. And sometimes, all someone needs is to be seen for who they are, not for what the world says they can't do." Her words pierced him. William realized he had spent more time building empires than truly seeing his own son. The challenges that followed were not easy. For William, it meant learning how to let go of control. Daniel's condition didn't change overnight. He still struggled with daily tasks, still fell more than he stood. And William struggled with guilt for the years he had hidden his son from the world, guilt for the times he thought money could replace presence. For Maya, it meant balancing the weight of her own life. She faced eviction notices, discrimination at work, and exhaustion that seeped into her bones. Yet, she never stopped encouraging Daniel, never stopped showing him that he was capable of more than he believed. Together, their worlds collided. William began spending more time with his son, not as a caretaker, but as a father. He took him to the park, read him stories at night, even tried dancing with him, awkward at first but slowly learning to laugh at himself. Daniel blossomed under the attention, his confidence growing with every small step. And quietly, something else began to grow between William and Maya. It wasn't about wealth or pity. It was about understanding. Maya showed William a kind of love he hadn't known, love without expectation, love that saw the person before the title. But their bond was tested. The world around them questioned their connection, a billionaire and a waitress, a man of privilege and a woman society often overlooked. William faced criticism from his own business partners who warned him that being distracted by this relationship could tarnish his image. Maya endured whispers from strangers who assumed she was chasing money. But in the end, neither of them cared. Because for Daniel, this was life-changing. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was living, dancing, laughing, and dreaming. The turning point came months later at a charity gala William hosted. The ballroom was glittering, filled with the city's elite. Daniel, dressed in his little tuxedo, sat nervously by his father's side. When the music started, the crowd expected the usual wealthy couples to take the floor. But William stood, walked to his son, and offered his hand. "Daniel," he said, his voice steady but full of emotion, "would you lead me in a dance tonight?" The room fell silent. Gasps echoed as William bent down, letting his son stand on his polished shoes for support. Slowly, carefully, Daniel took a step. And then another. Together, father and son danced, not flawlessly, not perfectly, but beautifully.